Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
And can you see my screen as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, participants. First of all, I would like to thank Nurul Huda Foundation and the key stakeholders of the organization for giving me a chance to speak to a wonderful group of teachers. And I can see some other luminaries who have joined this with the Basab there. So my regards to all of them, Ms. Azra, Ms. Rafia, for giving me a chance to have a brief discussion on some emerging trends in education, with the participants. So my gratitude. I was listening to Ms. Rafia and I was really pleased to see how well she summarized the recent trends in education and what are the pending elements that need to be incorporated in the education system. So, Ms. Rafia, you have summarized it very well, leading from issues of experiential learning for students co-creating knowledge, leading to the 6 E's of learning, character building, value education, compassion, critical thinking. These are extremely important elements that 21st century education demands us to incorporate in the system. And these are exactly 21st century skills which make our learners better learners for meaningful integration in society. So I would continue from what Ms. Rafia discussed. So first of all, what we need to see is that where should we situate 21st century education? So when we are talking about the emerging trends in education, we need to situate education in a context. And with the COVID situation, what we have learned, and I think the teachers would agree with me, and that is that our education needs to be more flexible. We need to think of ways of making it more accessible, reachable to our student body, because that is the need of the hour. And we have learned from the previous 2 years how COVID accelerated this need of flexibility and how we reached out to our learners through this flexibility by practicing various modes of teaching and learning, from online to blended to hybrid. All of these are new terms which we might not have been familiar with 2 to 3 years ago, but now with the click of the finger we know what these elements are. Then 21st century education needs to be more student centered. And what do I mean by that? I mean to say that we need to make our students self-directed, responsible learners. So when we talked about the different modes of education which embody technology, then we basically ask our students to take part and become important contributors in their knowledge. So they need to take charge of their own learning in today's world. And that is what I actually mean by student-centered. We need to create opportunities through various platforms, by creating various opportunities in the class by which students become self-directed learners. So we need to gear our methodology accordingly. We need to practice methodology which invites students to become active learners. And then there is a huge trend, and I'm going to explain it in in the other slides, what I mean by this very important element, which is outcome and skill-based education. The whole world is talking about skill-based education and outcome-based education, where we focus on development of key skills which are necessary for survival in this competitive world. So what are those skills, and how can we change the mode of our education system where we incorporate skills in academics? So that is something which I would like to give key attention when we talk about emerging trends in education. But before I do that, I need to focus and let the participants think about the necessity for this change. How has this change how has it come in so rapidly? and how has it knocked at our doors so vehemently, and we are now thinking of bringing major changes in the way we learn and in the way we teach. So that is something that we need to think about. When we are thinking about the change agents, that has necessitated us to think about bringing key improvisations in our curricula, key improvisations in the vision of education, and revisiting some basic ideas which are so well grounded, especially with regard to the socio-economic and cultural nuances of our country. So what are those change agents? And one of the key change agent is the world economy itself, that has increasingly become competitive over time. This huge surge of capitalism, and this huge surge of capitalism that actually necessitated the industrial revolution, which in itself has become a change agent. So the world economy has increasingly become competitive, and it has become knowledge based. So it has become knowledge based, and we have seen that now we are talking about academics beyond borders. So when we take help from technology, we are not just talking about Pakistan. We are talking about education beyond borders, and we have seen that. We have invited speakers from all over the country, and this very conference, is based on the use of technology, which has put all of us together on this platform, and we are all sitting in our own respective places and listening to this wonderful conference. So this in itself is a change agent. So this is the interconnectedness that has increased accessibility, and that has actually invited the human brain to adapt and adopt itself to these new realities. And since the boundaries of time and space are broken, and since there is increased connectivity, there is a huge surge of information that is coming our way. Everything is available, just a click away. So all of these have become change agents, and they are knocking at the doors of academia to keenly think about desirable changes in the system. This is very important. So what we need to think about is that what has necessitated this change? Industrial revolution. I mean, I think that Ms. Rafia did mention about the upsurge of technological use. So this is the process of change that has emerged over years, from 18th century onwards up till now. And this process of change has, actually changed realities from agrarian to technological, from hands to machine. So these sweeping changes, have brought immense changes in the economic and social organization of countries. So socio-economic, cultural, and technological changes have necessitated this change. So when I talk about the fourth industrial revolution and how that has impacted education, fourth industrial revolution is basically the integration of human systems and technological systems. It is a fusion of physical, digital, and the biological world. And they have brought unprecedented changes in the way we think, in the way we organize, and in the way we implement ideas. And that has made the situation in countries like us a bit challenging, because it has made us think about the processes of unlearning and relearning, de-skilling and reskilling. And we as teachers have seen that the COVID situation over the last 2 years, created several challenging situations from teachers, from pedagogy, from technological literacy, and to other elements. And we have seen, and I've been a witness to teachers becoming redundant because they could not rub shoulders with technology. And because of not being able to use technology, they could not survive in the education industry. So we need to see how this process of change has transformed the educational world. You see, we cannot remain disconnected from the sociological, political, economical developments that have taken around the world over the years. So in just over 200 to 300 years, there have been immense changes. So just imagine that from the use of hands, we have become subservient to the use of technology. And there is already a talk about teachers becoming redundant over a period of time, which is again a great debate that is now on in many academic circles. Through artificial intelligence, teachers being replaced by machines. So how can we handle this upsurge of technology? So this is a change in itself, and how can we safely integrate it? So that is one change agent. The other change agent is the new skill set that is required for the 21st century world, where we need elements like critical thinking. We need to incorporate it in our teaching and learning, problem solving. We need to be more collaborative rather than being more competitive. And that is one lesson that I have learned over the years, and one lesson that I communicate a lot to teachers, to instill the seeds of collaboration in classrooms. And that makes learning rapid, and that makes learning easy also. We need to become more agile and adaptable. We need to take risks and initiatives. Ms. Rafi already pointed out at the element of entrepreneurship. So we exist in a world where now we need to focus on entrepreneurial skills. We need to polish our effective oral and communication skills. We need to become more analytical. We need to instill curiosity and imagination. And no other subjects but social sciences. And I would admit that I have a great bias towards that. That inclusion of social science subjects in the curriculum may trigger more. I'm not saying that other subjects cannot, but social sciences needs to be now given a lot of importance, so that they can actually come and rub shoulders with the other technological areas that we are now focusing on, from artificial intelligence to data analytics to blockchain of learning, big data analysis, and all these buzzwords are just around us. So we need to balance them out with social sciences, because they are the areas that teach us all those skills which are required to exist in a society, like compassion, like empathy, like understanding, like citizenship, character building. All of these skills are the demands of 21st century education. Then this is a little bit of data that is a bit scary as well, which I just pulled out from a World Economic Forum report 2020, which says that there is a need to reskill about 1 billion people by 2030. So we require core skills, which are necessary for these 1 billion people around the world. So the report says that there will be 133 million job opportunities created around the world to meet the demands of the fourth industrial revolution. And we are already talking about the fifth industrial revolution. So are we prepared as citizens of this country to meet this job market? How is our curricula preparing us for this job market? So if we do not revise our curricula, if we do not change our teaching styles, if we do not make learners learn these new ways, so you can imagine the future for these learners in our country. So there will be major job growths. And this research report says that there are 7 professions which are going to come to surface, which the major one being caring. And I have already told you that technology has a price. Technology comes, by creating distances among people, like the way we are all distant from each other and not physically present. So we need elements of care and compassion and value system to actually neutralize, this technological upsurge. So we need to prepare our learners to become better carers. Similarly, there will be professions, like engineering and cloud computing and marketing and data and artificial intelligence, and also environmental education, green jobs. You can see what is happening in our country, and may Allah protect all our citizens, and may Allah have his blessings on all of us. And you can see that because of climate change, that is the kind of disasters that we are all confronting. UNESCO, has pledged that by 2025, all schools, universities need to have environmental education as a compulsory subject in their curricula. So are we thinking about that? I don't think so. So these are the job opportunities that are there. So how is our curricula, woven around this? The other change agent that is there is human diversity. So education system has its own ecosystem. So how is our curricula catering to these cross-cultural competencies? We need to make our learners aware of the diverse cultures, linguistic diversity, cultural diversity, geographical diversity that is there in this very small country called Pakistan. Research states that at one point we were host to about 70 languages, including indigenous languages. And there is still a huge impetus on leaving your own language and concentrating on languages, prime being English language. How much care do we give to regional and mother tongue languages? This is a separate discussion and needs much more space. So today we don't have time to indulge in this debate. But I'm just leaving it as a feeler, that how is our curriculum catering to the whole entire issue of language and cultural development? Our curriculum being inclusive? How does our curriculum cater to the social problems that are around us and cater to the diverse perspectives that students bring into the classroom? Because we are used to following a very structured curriculum and a very structured syllabus and a very structured methodology. So if we, do not follow that, I don't think that we can actually ignite critical thinking among our learners. So just to give you a little bit of statistics, COVID-19 itself became a change agent in this whole emerging trend in education. So worldwide, 1.6 billion students were affected worldwide. 463 million students could not access remote learning in South Asia, where we are sitting. And World Bank has estimated that because of these learning losses, so this current generation of students, will have to bear the loss of $17 trillion in their lifetime earnings because of the backward push in education gains that they suffered during the last 2-3 years. So how are we going to cope with this big reality? These are all food for thought I'm leaving for all of us. So that against this backdrop, so in the rest of the 7-8 minutes that I have, against this backdrop of the change agentry that has necessitated change in the way we think about education, now we need to think about our teaching and learning. Now we need to think about our curriculum. So just for the brief information of our teachers, when we talk about a curriculum, we are talking about a planned instructional experience, which is designed to help our learners. So when we are talking about a curriculum, we are talking about the entire educational framework, where we talk about the goals of education, where we talk about the content, where we talk about the learning experiences, the teaching methodology, the different areas of inclusivity, where we talk about assessment and evaluation. So the entire processes of education come under the umbrella of curriculum. So what are the emerging trends now? So the emerging trends in education and the curriculum is to, make an intelligible workforce, and we need to focus on citizenship and very key skills, key skills, in the world, which I have just enumerated a few minutes earlier. So we need to take stock of skill-based education in curriculum. And only then we can talk about lifelong learning. So we need to think ahead. We need to have a far-sighted curriculum that takes stock of the impending, areas, the areas where our students will fit in the society. So unless we have a curriculum which promotes lifelong learning and social participation, I don't think that we are preparing our learners who can safely integrate in society. So we need to, the emerging trends in teaching and learning, they are hinting towards these ideas to create citizenship skills and to have a skill-based education system. I was just going through our education policy a few days ago, and it clearly stated that in from the 9th and 10th grades, the schools should promote vocational education by having subject areas where students can actually follow those streams. I'm not sure in how many schools, both state and both private, we have this trend where we encourage our learners to take this important strand of vocational and skill-based learning so that they can, become skillful for the job market. So this is again a food for thought for schools, and schools especially where in the 9th and 10th grades. It is written in the education policy that we should promote such vocational schooling and vocational subjects in the 9th and 10th grades. So other emerging trends in our curriculum, teaching and learning, is that interdisciplinary approach to learning. That has clearly increased. So we just cannot think about the compartmentalization that we offer at this point in time, where subjects are severely compartmentalized in terms of being science and maths and English and Urdu and history and environmental education and others. So we need to see a connection. We need to have an interdisciplinary approach, where if we are teaching literature, we make a connection with history. So we, for example, right now, when we are talking about technology, we need to mention the historical trends that have actually accelerated this, technological world. We need to talk about the 4th industrial revolution and the 5th industrial revolution. Similarly, the current trends, they place a lot of focus on the curriculum and teaching and learning being relevant to the lives of our learners, being flexible, being need-based, and teaching competencies that I have just talked about. So the matrimony of curriculum and technology is inevitable in today's world. We need to educate our learners with technology, and we need to actually upgrade our own skills. We call this present generation digital natives. They know technology because they opened their eyes and they actually saw technology. But people like us, we are an interesting generation. We have seen the old ways and we are seeing the new ways also. So we are a generation in transition. So unless we as teachers improve ourselves, improve our skills, there is no way that we can compete with the world. So again, a growing emphasis on outcome and competency-based education and alternative learning pathways, which means that at the same time, we can offer online, blended, and hybrid forms of learning. Right now, I'm teaching a very interesting online course on curriculum and instruction, and I have teachers, from all over Pakistan. And it is such an interesting mix where teachers from Gilgit to Sakhar to Khairpur to KP to Hyderabad to Islamabad to Lahore to Karachi, all of them are part of this course. And that has made it, a great learning experience. And, taking the matter further, we need to increase the role of other stakeholders in education, the role of parents, the families, and communities in participating in our children's learning. So we need to have, also we need to develop high class teachers with supporting them with high quality professional development programs. And that is again a very painful area, which involves a lot of discussion. But this aspect of professional development of teachers is something which all schools and all institutions must give a lot of importance. Unless we have professional training, I don't think that we can move forward. So, just coming towards the closure of my talk, when we talk about this changed reality, what is the impact on curriculum? What is the impact on this whole scenario of education? So, the guidelines are that we need to reskill ourselves very rapidly. We need to adjust to these new realities. We need to become more emotionally intelligent. That is, I think, a very core area, and again, something which is very close to my heart, because this is an area which is the subject of my research as well. We need to be emotionally intelligent, and we need to become more empathetic and compassionate, and need to have a value based system which we can actually integrate in our teaching and learning. So we need to prepare learners who can become lifelong skill based learners. We need to have an adaptive education system which is based on student needs. How many times do we do a needs analysis before we open a school? How many times do we do a needs analysis before we open a classroom? How many times do we do a needs analysis before we open a school? How many times do we do a needs analysis before we open a classroom? Can you hear me? I went on mute.
Yes, ma'am, you are clear now.
All right. Okay. I'm sorry. So education needs to be interest driven, and those interests need to be aligned with the existing realities, with the existing demands which impinge upon us from all quarters, from the cultural to the to the social to the international. And we need to have creative ways of embedding new ideas in the curriculum. But one thing is very important, and that is something that I keep talking to teachers, and that is the whole aspect of context based education. We need to have education which takes stock of the realities of our students. So when we talk about singularity, when we talk about this whole concept of one system for all, I would become very nervous, because this one size fits all is not something which true education demands. And then here I would quote Fullan, who says that all these ideas in the curriculum, they need to be actually brought down to classroom practices. These ideas need not remain in a good curriculum file, well written. You need to accomplish these ideas, and you need to bring them down to classroom practices. So when you are talking about inclusivity, when you're talking about creativity, when you are talking about diversity, when you're talking about skill-based learning, when you talk about experiential learning, those need to be exhibited in the classroom. Only then, we can say that all these ideas have come into action. So, it looks very wonderful when we talk about these ideas. It gives us a very good flavor, but it all boils down to using these ideas in the classroom. And that is what, Michael Fullan talks about. So lastly, these are a few skills that teachers may need to use. So you as teachers need to encourage self-directed learning. A very important aspect of your personality is the use of soft skills. And I would not, reiterate it further, because I've already talked about this element, the element of, social emotional learning and being empathetic and compassionate. We as teachers need to change our ways from authoritarian we need to become authoritative by the use of soft skills. So we need to have a good social presence in the classroom. So we need to have technological literacy, and especially when it comes to a virtual classroom has its own social etiquettes which we need to practice as teachers. I always tell teachers to have their cameras open when they teach. You need to show your social presence because we are already distant from each other. So you need to co-create knowledge with your students. And please, in this present time, concentrate more on formative assessment rather than summative assessment. You need to give active feedbacks, have engaging materials in the classrooms that generate interest, and the exercise the ability to move from simple to complex. That, these are all very small tips that can actually improve our teaching and learning. So I think that I'm just 1 minute away from the time that I've been given to. So just wrapping up the discussion, the emerging trends in education are all over. The emerging trends I have just talked about and what has necessitated these emerging trends. But what we need to actually see is how can we equate them with our own social cultural context. That is very important. We just cannot install ideas. These are all ideas that are there in the wider world. But how can we contextualize these ideas to give our learners a better and a meaningful learning experience? So I thank you all for the time that has been given to me and the chance that you have given me to talk to the teachers and other stakeholders.